I'm going to throw up through my eyeballs. Jesse, this is the scare. I'm sorry, but all the gloves have to come off on this one. We've been hinting around the fact that this guy is not president, right? He's not there. This is something that he has been doing for supposedly decades. Empathizing, going to people in times of suffering. He can't even do that anymore. So if he can't do this, that's, to me, the big question. If he can't do that, can we even begin to believe that he's running the country?
No, he's not running the country. He can't show basic human emotion during a time when hundreds of children are missing. If George Bush, after Katrina, came out at the ranch and said no comment and then went back to the ranch, then on his second vacation of August, flew to Katrina and said, you know what, my bathtub overflowed one day, had to just retile the whole floor. You know, my dog almost drowned, but, you know, I can feel your pain. And then fell asleep at a solemn ceremony afterwards and then noticed someone's galoshes in knee-high water and then flew back to vacation. Greg, this is so abysmal, abhorrent. And the fact that people are still missing, and he has the nerve to say, I can relate. He can't relate. He cannot relate to human beings at all. He's done this his entire career. It's not empathy when you make up a lie in order to feel like you're a part of someone else's misery. He does this with his son. He does this at other hurricanes and floods and wildfires. He's a plagiarist. And when you do that, what you're basically saying is you are so insecure that you don't feel like you're good enough or able to connect with other people on a deep human level, that you have to then make up something in order to insert yourself into their suffering. And that is how you bond. You're bonding through a lie. And he did this when he plagiarized. He did this when he makes stuff up out of thin air. This is a different moment. I feel like the rest of the country, even the media, is starting to wake up a little bit here. And they're seeing how crass and callous and cold and calculating, politically calculating this man is. To phone it in on a time like this, something's changed. And I don't think he might be able to come back from this.
You know, Jessica, I'm going to take your side for once because I feel bad about this. I don't think this is his fault. I think he shouldn't be out there. I think that they, you know, obviously they can't send Kamala out there because she's embarrassing. So they're stuck wheeling him out there and he doesn't know where the hell he is. This is really on the administration. I mean, you cannot defend that performance, can you? Jessica Tarlov, if that's your real name?
I think it is. Who would pick that name anyway? I don't think that he should have obviously used that example. And you could have just easily said, I've seen the awesome work that firefighters do all over the country. This is a great travesty, et cetera. So I think that that was misguided. I can't buy into the idea that Joe Biden has been conning the American public for 5 decades in terms of...
The media has.
No, but people listen to him. He's been on debate stages. He's gotten elected and reelected and reelected and reelected. And people really like him. That's why they supported him. That's why he won in 2020, because he was someone who was connecting with people. He was the guy talking to the little kid with a stutter, right, about how he grew up and how he got past that and went on to be running for president and then eventually won. So I'll give you that that was a bad comparison. But there have been so many craven lies told about the timeline of the response on this. Jesse just said his first comments were no comment, which is categorically untrue. So that was on August 13th. The wildfires started on August 8th. On August 10th, that's when a major disaster declaration occurred. He got the call, the request from Hawaii to do that. It took him just 63 minutes to sign that.
You signed a piece of paper. I'm talking about significant public comments.
Just wait for it. And then later that day, he was in Utah talking about something else, and he opened up by commenting on what was going on in Hawaii and how devastating it was. Listen to what the governor of Hawaii, Josh Green, said. Within 6 hours, the administration met our needs with federal movement. I don't think that's ever happened before. The Maui County mayor, I wanted to say how responsive the president has been. He called me. I asked for the help that we needed, and within 2 hours, one of his cabinet members called me to answer my question. we've been getting all the help that we need.
That's the Maui mayor. Just pointing that out.
Right, and you don't think at a time when there are hundreds of people dead and there's another 1,000 people that are missing, that the Maui mayor wouldn't have said, Joe Biden is lying to you when he says that they care.
You got to be nice. You got to be nice. You have to be nice because you're hoping for something.
You're hoping for all the things that he got. The FEMA aid came in. I saw Republicans criticizing him. Why do you only give them $700? That's the FEMA limit. This thing about the ground, the hot ground, he was talking to a dog whose paws are on the ground. It's not like he's saying to
what a guy talking about talking to a dog. Are you kidding me? This is a guy who goes to an inferno where 1,000 people and children are missing because they cannot get any idea. They have been so destroyed. There's no odontology reports. There's no fingerprints. There's no body frames. There's nothing. That's why they can't identify everyone. And he talks to a dog, and he talks about the fact that he almost lost a cat. Are you kidding me? That he almost lost a cat? Jill and I know what it's like to lose. This guy has been lying from the moment he came on the political scene. He has a lack of empathy. He is egocentric. He's got a condescending smirk whenever anybody asks him a question from the press. He's lying and he's narcissistic. And you know what? He's not trying to make it feel like he's part of their misery. He's a narcissist and an egomaniac who's trying to make it about himself. And you know what? I'll bet he got more than $700 when he had that so-called fire in his house. And on the same day that Biden offered the $700 checks, he gave Ukraine $200 million to Kyiv.
So what?
Let me finish. So what? What about the people in Hawaii who are saying, we're Americans, aren't we? Why aren't we getting that kind of money? The people in Kyiv have already gotten in Ukraine $113 billion. $700, they don't have food, clothing, shelter, a home, and they're missing their family. Don't tell me $700 is enough. And when he says no, Karine Jean-Pierre doesn't know what the hell she's talking about. She says Joe Biden cares about people. Karine, explain why he said when they asked about the rising death toll, he said no comment. The bottom line is he systematically lies. He says he was Greek, he was Jewish, he was raised in a Puerto Rican community, and that to Charlemagne the God, you ain't black if you don't vote for me. He's just a narcissist who does not belong on the world stage.
If you're an empathetic person and you have empathy, you normally don't need your folks to sell it for you. Sorry, Greg.
No, I was just going to say that. Again, I go back to the fact that I don't think this is his responsibility anymore. I don't think you can have empathy when you're senile. You know, I think he's really degraded into a different type of Joe Biden. What do you think?
You're tossing it back to me. I was going to defer my time to the National Review on the twisted idea of empathy. And I think this is a really real important moment, as Jesse was pointing out earlier, talking about his responses to tragedies. And these are key moments for people who are really grieving and going through a lot. Something they could never imagine having lived through on the ground there. These tragedies almost always involve butchering the truth to make them about him rather than the victims. And Jesse, you'll appreciate the way they end this piece. He's Prince Philip without the charm, Kanye without the genius, David Brent without the script and hidden camera. Come back, no comment, all's forgiven. And that's happening far too many times. And I think the American people, and to your point, the mainstream media, are seeing that happen all too much.
Can I just say two really quick things?
Okay,
One,
great.
I think they're really good. Okay, so the judge knows how government budgets work. The money for Ukraine has nothing to do with the money for Hawaii. I also did not hear this kind of criticism of Donald Trump's characters when he threw paper towels at people in Puerto Rico, or comment about the IG report from the housing department that showed that $20 billion of aid was with.
What about and we're talking about Joe Biden and the American people, no one else.
No, you're talking about this person being uniquely unempathetic, incapable of connecting with people, and a liar.
Well, look, Jessica, he is a liar. We know that. It's been documented for decades. He has lied about everything. I'm siding with you. I don't think he's evil. I just think he's lost his marbles.
Well, that's obviously not something that I'm going to agree with. You're not really siding with me.
I know.
Donald Trump went to every national disaster that happened in America, and that's a fact.